All right, Chet, you grab a seat right here. Fantastic. All right, my friend, new location. Good to see you.
Are we back in business?
Well, people will comment here in a second.
Okay.
But
what were you asking?
Well, I was asking you about the foreword by Stephen Pressfield.
Can I start to tell the story? Or
Go for it. Oh yeah, see, everyone's here.
Okay.
So here's Nikki. By the way, Christy was on here a moment ago, and we're gonna have a bunch of others. So let's hear about Stephen Pressfield, because that dude is big. You wished you could have had him.
Yeah.
But you ended up getting him on the book as the foreword. That's no joke. No. Tell us how you got on.
Well, I was asking you, how do you get to heaven? And you said Jesus. I said, well, it's who you know.
It's who you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the way I got Pressfield, it's who you know. And it was the funniest thing. My mom's 90th birthday. She's 95 now. So 5 years ago, sitting in church that morning, celebrating her 90th with other family members, including my cousin Ann and my uncle Haney, who'd come all the way from Seattle for my mom's 90th. And they brought Jim Gant, which was my cousin Ann's new husband. Mm-hmm. And I'd heard about him. I knew he was a Green Beret, and I knew he was a big warrior in the Afghanistan-Iraq war. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know much about him. And so after church, we started talking. And of course, we talked about war. Mm-hmm. And I told him my favorite book on that was the book about the 300. And his response was, "You mean Gates of Fire?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Have you read it?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I've read everything Pressfield's written." And he said, and he and I are actually good friends. And I'm like, "No kidding." And he said, "Oh yeah." He came because he was fascinated with what they were doing in Afghanistan.
Say hi to your daughters.
Oh, hey, Chet. And welcome.
Yeah, and Rachel.
Oh yeah, Rachel's here. Good. We got somebody from the band.
All
Sweet.
Your friends. Yeah.
So anyway, so he we just became friends with that in common, and he started following the blog. And a couple of years later, he would write me and he would tell me this and that and the other. He loved the writing. And one day he told me, "Hey," he goes, "you need to write a book." And I'm like, "You sound like PJ." Every time I see PJ, he tells me you need to write a book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm not writing a book." And he said, "Well, you need to write a book." And he said, "And when you do, because you're going to let me know, and I'm going to get Stephen Pressfield to write the foreword." And I thought that's like the proverbial, like we need to go do lunch someday.
Yes, like a joke.
Like a joke.
Yeah.
They never call for lunch. Mm-hmm. And so 2 years ago, when I told him I'm writing the book and it's being written now, he said, "Well, let me know and I'll get Steve to do it." And I'm like, "Are you kidding? I mean, come on, seriously." I said, like, that's my favorite author who's alive is Pressfield.
Because the other one would be C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
But he's dead.
He's dead. We can't.
Tough to do a forward.
Yeah, it's tough to do a forward. He could do a backward. So sure enough, he did. And I'll remember I was driving out to see Crit in Kansas City and my client. And I get the call. He said he would call me. And I'm like, "We'll see, miss, if he calls." Sure enough, he calls. It's an LA number. It says, "This is Steve." And he starts the conversation with this. He goes, "Just so you know," he goes, "I'm writing your forward. You don't need to sell me. You don't need to like tell me why it'd be great." He goes, "It's done." He said, "Any friend of Jim's is a blood brother of mine."
Wow. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's how close he is to Jim Gant.
Yeah. And Jim, by the way, is the #1 target of Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is like they have a monument of him at the Washington.
Yeah. One of the Washington museums, which he just showed us. He was the most wanted man when they did the raid on bin Laden, and they found his diary. He had a list of his most wanted foes, and he was #1. Wow. Freaking unbelievable. And he's the most gentle, sweet man you'd meet. I mean, he's a dear, sweet soul and a warrior. So anyway, so that's how I got Pressfield, which I'm forever grateful. It's been a thrill to have him write the foreword. He read the book and wrote the 3-page foreword. And I called him to say, like, I can see why you're such a great writer, because
He's good.
He's good.
Oh,
he read it,
and he read
the essence.
Oh my gosh!
He read it.
A lot of people who write forewords, they don't even read the book.
He read it.
I know.
And he I mean, he's really impressive. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you get one thing out of this book launch, and you're not a Stephen Pressfield
Mhm.
avid reader, pick up Gates of Fire,
Mhm.
pick up The War of Art.
Yes, that is so good.
So good.
I encourage
So
all
good.
my writers to get that.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
it's great
let's
for writers.
put a link in there
Yeah,
for
do
that. Also, don't forget, we're giving away prizes to the most active person. In fact, we're going to give away a Who Not How book for the person who tags somebody. Jeff.
Oh my gosh, this is your arch rival.
Is this the guy?
Jeff, that's
Is
the
this
guy that crushed you in the last.
Crushed me. Don't even tell me about that.
That's so good.
That's good.
Jeff,
That's good.
welcome. We're glad
Welcome,
you're
Jeff,
here.
from California.
Yeah. From
Good
California.
to see you, Jeff. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So this book's unique for a number of reasons. It's 365 daily disciplines to master the art of living. Chrissy already said that she read this morning. So she bought the book already, and she loved the day about fear.
Oh,
so look at that.
Sweet.
You're bumped up. Double the people are watching now.
Oh,
people from all over. So, Kyle. Huh? Kyle.
Am I crazy?
Kyle's here.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Thank you, Kyle.
Why do you attract, Chet, such unique, crazy people? You know, you got Jim Gantz, you got
Kyle.
Jeff, you got Kyle, you got London friend, you know, David Chambers. What is more difficult, golfing or wrestling? He told us he was going to post that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What's more difficult, golf or wrestling? Go ahead and type in a comment. We'll pick a winner here. But why does this book, I mean, Coach Tom Ryan, Chirp, why do you attract Brett Kaufman? Why do you attract all these crazy dudes? What is it about your message? Unconventional.
I don't know if it's unconventional, but I would say all of those people that you mentioned, and I both, we share a realness and a rawness and a desire for truth. I mean, we just had practice 137, I want to say, with the OSU wrestling team last week. And Grappy started the practice. Tom Ryan, I call him Grappy. He started the practice out with telling the team, reminding the team of why we're practicing. And he said, the reason we're practicing is because I love truth. And we don't live in enough truth. We live with a lot of people running from the truth. And he goes, every time we bring Chet in and we engage with Built to Lead, it's an opportunity for us to find more truth. And so I think that we don't offer anything new. I always tell people, Built to Lead is not bringing you something insightful, cutting edge. We're not bringing you a shortcut. We're basically bringing back old, timeless truth. And we're wrapping it in a real, raw way that's unique to the Built to Lead band and to who we are. And it's the only way we know how to be. And so I think that attracts people that want that. And so we're blessed with clients that share a passion for excellence and understanding that the feedback, that the truth is how they achieve that. And so they want us to give them the truth. They want us to share truth. They want to hear truth. And that's really weird because most humans just want affirmation. Most humans are in love with being told how good they are and that everything's going to be great. And we tell people the truth. And
does the truth involve pain?
Yeah. But I told this, we had our first practice with a group of tennis pros today, which is going to be fun. They also want truth. And I told them, because we got into some hard truth in practice 1. And I told them, just remember this, that the truth hurts, but it does not harm.
Oh, that's good. That's quotable, Chet.
Yeah.
The truth hurts, but it does not harm.
That's right.
What do you mean by that?
It sets you free. So that's my favorite verse in the Bible, John 8:32. And someday you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. My favorite verse. I don't have very many memorized, but I have that one memorized backwards, forwards. And so,
well, let's even talk about Missy, because we had 7 good minutes the other day. And you said that's what attracted you to Missy, because so many women back in the day, they didn't speak the truth.
No, well, at least not any truth I could decipher.
There you go.
You know what I mean? It was like I was always wondering what she meant when she said whatever it was she said. And with Miss, I didn't always like what she said, but I didn't have to interpret what she said. And I fell in love with the real, the raw. And I guess that's why she was attracted to me. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But truth, she's the best thing you can have in a partner is somebody who is honest and loyal.
Wow.
And I mean, man, and that's the same thing with a teammate.
That's awesome. You got Pete Kunk showing up.
Oh, Petey boy.
You got John Gigante.
Oh, good. Gigante. Good.
Yeah.
We got another tour coming January 1, John.
That's right.
More details, more work.
It almost sounds to me like this book launch in a weird way. Just hang with the illustration.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a funeral. Like, I mean, isn't this everyone you would want to show up and they're speaking kind words and they're just amazing? That doesn't happen a lot in life. Why do we only honor people when they're dead?
What do you think? What's your answer to that?
Oh man.
Why do we honor people
when they're dead?
Why don't we honor people when they're alive?
I don't know, but I'm sure glad you wrote this book, because I think it's bringing out the fact that people can experience you, you know? I think that's the beauty of a book. When you don't write a book, it's tough to pass on your wisdom. But when you have a book, I mean, this thing will live on for years, decades. And by the way, how heavy is this thing?
I know it's 2.2 pounds.
Is it really? Yes. So 2.2 pounds. Why did you want color? I mean, you spared no expense. You put this thing in color. I know David Deck, right? David, what do you call him? What's his nickname?
Dosher and Magoo, John Rue, David Deck.
So everything is intentional. The mountains with the page numbers. What does that picture represent?
The climb. And together we transform on the climb. So it represents the built to lead, the builder's journey is not to be taken alone. It's to be taken with another. And we never know who the leader is because we rotate. And so you can't see on that picture, that silhouette, who is the positional leader. It's just two peers helping each other on the climb. I think that's a great metaphor for life, that, you know, Miss and I are just two partners. The band, the Built to Lead builders, you know, like I'm not the boss. I'm just another builder. We're just a team of peers. And you wouldn't know who's in charge if you interacted with us in practice. Like everybody plays. And so everybody climbs, everybody helps each other, and everybody receives help. Yeah. And I think that's just the way life is supposed to be lived. I remember when I met you and you were just about to start Built to Lead, or just starting it. Just about to. Yeah, because I met you in 2001. And I started it in 2. Okay. And you shared this little slogan with me, together we transform. And I remember, because I was young, ignorant, I had a little bit of hair. But you had a lot of hair. A lot of hair back then. But I didn't like that slogan, together we transform, because I was like, let me remind you, you're forgetting. So what PJ didn't like was the initial rinse of Built to Lead was Built to Lead on the top. And then here it is, Peach. Remember the word you didn't like. Together we improve. Oh, okay. And you didn't like improve. You, I think, would have enjoyed transform. And as the band rounded out and we brought on more teammates to the band, the crescendo of it's about transformation, not improving. That's so good. It's about transforming. And so the band influenced me a way you couldn't. Well, no, and I'm not, it's not a shot at you. That's a shot at me. No, but you're giving me credit too. And I really don't think I should, because I didn't like about it. I was much more back then thinking, well, the leader's here
and your clients are here, and that's why they're hiring you.
Mm.
But your slogan basically says, no, your clients are transforming you too.
That's right.
That's pretty unique. Who out here is a coach? I'd love to hear if you're a coach out there. But I think most coaches are too arrogant to say that their clients transform them. Why is that?
I don't know if it's arrogance or
Ignorance, maybe.
could be that. But I can tell you that the reality is, that it's always together and it's never one-sided. I mean, if you want to have a great marriage and your spouse does not change you, then it's probably not a great marriage.
No.
And if you don't have a great marriage where you can see how the imprint of who you are is stamped on your spouse's heart, then it's probably not good, because it's meant to be the two of us are going to transform together. And so we're going to change. I can say with Miss, like, I can see aspects of who I am that are a reflection of who she is. And I can see aspects of who she is that are deeply embedded from where she learned that from me. It goes both directions. I was on the phone today with Brett Kaufman.
Yes.
Thanking him for his generous support of Built to Lead. And I thanked him, and he said back to me, he goes, well, he goes, you're welcome. And he goes, but let me tell you, the reason that I'm putting this out and that I'm so supportive of Built to Lead is because it works.
Wow.
And he's like, this has transformed me. And he said, I'm a different man. I'm a different husband. I'm a different entrepreneur than I would have been, and that I was before Built to Lead.
Yeah.
And I said, and you know what? And I'm a different man since working with your Kaufman development, because I'd never worked with a startup. I wasn't sure Built to Lead could impact a startup, because that's such a crazy, chaotic time.
Yeah.
What startup takes time to pour into their team when they're just trying to put a product out?
Yeah.
Right. And he did. And it changed my mind about how Built to Lead can impact the world. And I would have never thought that startups would be an area where we'd thrive. But Jiggles, one of our builders, he loves startups, and he's having great success with some young companies. And I don't think we would have had that if it hadn't been for Brett. So that's a perfect example of together we transform.
Yeah.
It's fact.
Man, the comments are blowing up. We have John Giganti, who said, you guys should start a weekly show. You got Kirsten here, who's giving shout outs to David Deck and John Rue, because they did. I mean,
they were
you all sat here or on Zoom or something?
We were on Zoom, David in St. Louis, Goo at his house, and me here, and we grinded.
Oh my goch. I remember
days,
you were mentally
Miss
tired.
Thought I was losing my mind at some point.
Yeah.
Right. She would be like, Chet, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why did you put so much effort? Because you could have said, the blog posts. I mean, you were very dogmatic about, I said, Chet, just go a page over. I was like, but you kept cutting and cutting and cutting. Yeah. So all the authors out there, why did you want to end each page perfectly? Because this is a 365-page book, one for every day. You can literally start any day of the year. Why did you want it to end on every page?
Well, for a variety of reasons, but I would have to say Stephen Pressfield, when I talked to him, he's at the moment writing a 365
Stoic is a Stoic one?
No, it's not. He and Ryan Holiday are good friends. Yeah. And Holiday told him, Steve, you need to write a 365-day book. So he is in the process of doing it. And he said to me, he goes, Chet, he goes, you have a lot to say, obviously. And he refers to it as the Atlas. I think that was his kind way of saying it's long. And he said, but you want to keep it to a day a page. And he said, it needs to be that. He didn't say CCD, but that's what he meant.
Clear, concise, and direct.
Yeah.
I got to interpret.
Yeah. And there is one exception. I made every day one day, with one exception. Mount Pomeroy and Crit is a 3-day.
Okay.
So the readers will have to be patient because I'm telling a story of my best girl, our daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Christy. I call her Crit or Crits. And it's the story of the two of us on a Colorado climb, which is, the two of us plus Bob and one other went on a 6-hour climb with no trail.
Wow.
And it was an epic day that I'll never forget. So that day, and the memories I made with our daughter was a 3-dayer. Wow. So I figured I'm going to cheat on that. Everything else got a day.
Everything else a day.
Yeah.
Tom Ryan, Chet is a bad dude. My program, which is the Ohio State Buckeyes, and you've worked with them and they became a national championship team.
Well, I would say they became a national championship team because of him and because of Kyle Snyder, Bo Jordan, Nate Tomasello, and the rest of them.
Yeah.
All right. We just happened to practice with them, but he attracts great athletes because this is a great man.
Yeah.
And we're just glad to work with him. And he's a dear friend and he's a bad dude.
Yes. Yes. So what about Tom Ryan and the Buckeyes? Oh, by the way, Dana just bought it on Kindle, and Kindle it's $9.99, and people can definitely use it as an ebook. They can go through it on their phones or iPad, or they can get a hardcover. And you didn't want to cheap out. I mean, this is a work of art. Why did you say? In fact, I'm going to share the screen here. Why did you want it to be like legit amazing and feel super rich? And by the way, #1 new release in business mentoring and coaching. Your mom's going to be proud.
Yeah, my mom.
She's going to share it with all her friends.
Yeah, all the people in the senior living in Salina will be getting a copy from my mom.
I love it. I love it. So why did you want like a legit amazing work of art?
Well, because this work of becoming Built to Lead, the band, this is our opus. It's our labor of love. And so when we sat and talked about it, we were like, why would we want to do this book and make it anything but an example of what our playbook looks like?
Yes.
And so the playbook's filled with color. It looks old and ragged, but when you open it up, it's filled with color.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And so because the work we're doing is a labor of love, why would we cut a corner? And when everybody says just do a black and white book, there's no way you get your money back in doing it color.
Yeah.
Don't do the design, that takes up space. We were like, man, we really want to do this book and make it beautiful, a work of art, because that's what we think of this work. So
I'm going to encourage everybody. This is a work of art. Chet literally is making less than $1 on the book. And I told you, I said before you did, I said, listen, man, 400 plus pages in color, you're not going to make a lot. But your program is not cheap. And I like that because you really are for the person who is premier. And I'm not saying that means that they have a certain budget, but everything you do is excellent. And there's a lot of people who can't afford you. And I think for the first time ever, this is a way you can get Built to Lead in an affordable way. Yeah. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
And you've been pushing me.
I've been pushing you for a long time.
For a long time in Peach. So here we are today. Did you buy one?
I'm going to.
Oh,
but I thought
I'll give you a copy.
I thought maybe I get a copy, but we'll see. We'll see. But I might buy some too.
No, I'm just teasing.
But let's talk about the audiobooks coming.
Yeah.
Because that was a labor of love. Oh my gosh. How many hours did that take you?
Well, we'd have to ask Dave,
but days.
Yeah, a lot of days down in my basement recording. And then he would keep saying, Chet, say that over. Chet, say that over. So we kept, you know the drill.
I know it.
But it was worth it. And I think that'll be a good tool for people to use in their car when, for reminders. The whole idea behind the book is really, we did really write it for our clients as another. This is Doug Lowy's extension of Doug Lowy's impact.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another one a day. You can get a one a day dose of Built to Lead and more reminders, because the human, we all need reminders because we forget stuff.
Yeah.
And so the audio book will be another reminder in the car, you know, just they can put it in and
a few minutes each day.
Yeah.
So a couple things here. Number one, I love this case laminate. Is that cool or what?
That is cool.
The hardcover with the dust jacket. But you have great endorsements from real life people who have really put this into practice. And then you probably don't know this, but we just started a new publishing imprint called Ethos Collective.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So Unhackable was the first book. Ethos, yours is the second.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And
so Graffy's not an Ethos dude?
Nah, we got to upgrade him.
Oh, we got to
upgrade him.
Get him with the program.
Yeah. But dedication. Why did you put this book is dedicated to Miss 40 years, my constant? Your love fuels me. Would talk about that.
Well, hey, you're getting me all choked up.
That's all right. It's a good thing.
So when I thought about that and about writing a dedication, it was like the first thought was, well, there's so many people, you know, because you when you write or when you do anything that's out of your comfort zone and you feel like it's going to be accomplished, there's so many people that carried you. So I was thinking about, I need to dedicate this book to like a bunch of people. And then I started to write the acknowledgments, and I called it just my thank yous. And so I just wrote all those out, and I got them all out of my head and onto paper. And I just started thanking all the people that I could think of that had helped me be able to do this work. And then when I came to Miss, it was, I mean, I couldn't put it into succinct words. It's like, you know, when we talk about the Built to Lead purpose, it's to move from alone toward all one L of a difference. And that L is love. And so when I thought about like what's made me whole here on this planet Earth, it's been knowing that like she's been with me for 40 years and her love has fueled me through all kinds of rough patches. And I hope mine has fueled her, but I know hers has fueled me more. She's just that way. And so I was just like, man, that's why am I able to do this? It's because like, I don't even worry about her. You know, I don't second guess, like she's just a truth teller to me. She's always beside me. We don't always have, it's not like we sing Kumbaya every night. We have good fights, you know?
Yeah.
But we never have fights that make me want to leave. And so I had to dedicate it to her because like for 40 years, she's been my constant. 38 of those marriage. And I mean, I wish for everyone, as I told these athletes today, because they couldn't get the one L of a difference. I told them like, none of this will matter if you don't love and if you don't feel love. And I'm like, God designed us in love. We're designed for love. We're designed to give love, to receive love. And the whole point of Built to Lead and an opus is a labor of love. And if you don't have anyone to share it with, it's just shallow. And so that's the long answer, but that's the truth. And
people love that.
Yeah.
Say it again, because people dig that, the all alone, all one. And say
the purpose for Built to Lead in a sentence is to transform, to begin this transformational process from alone toward all one. Like our belief, my belief, is that we're designed with the aim for us to become all one.
Wow.
Yeah. And that we feel oftentimes in life like we're alone. And then oftentimes when we have success, we feel like nobody gets it, nobody understands us, so we want to be alone. And we can't trust anybody, so we wall ourselves off. And God's design is for us to have great life and abundant life, trusting life with him and with others on this planet that make us more whole. And so all one, the whole point of Built to Lead is to become all one.
Yeah.
And it's just more love. So
I love it. I love it. Couple things. Let's.
Are these people talking to each other?
Oh yeah, you got all kinds of people.
So
they're all showing up on
so
Facebook.
they're saying stuff to each other?
No, to us and each other. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can they see what each other's saying?
Yes,
they can.
Yes.
Okay.
So you got a whole party
Yeah,
blown up on
great.
Facebook.
Well, that's great.
See,
is Chambers still on here?
Maybe he got frustrated when he said, "Are you a soft kitty who only bikes inside now?" Oh yeah, yeah. He said that a lot. He said that a while back.
That's good. Oh, Tom Wright, you two are good together.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yes.
So
Blondie. We call him. Yes. So, a couple things here. You obviously use this term called distinct but deeply connected.
No.
Distinct and deeply connected.
Oh my gosh. Beach. It's always an and.
Tell us what that means.
So, again, I believe this is God's design for us to, as we mature into who he's designed us to become, that we will become very distinct. And like I've watched PJ become PJ. And when PJ and I started together, PJ was a youth pastor who didn't know who he was.
I was scared.
He was scared. And he was trying to be who his dad and mom wanted him to be, who he thought the head pastor wanted him to be, who a bunch of people. And so he was not very distinct. He kind of was just blending in.
Chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've become distinct. And I believe that's by God's grace and by your work, figuring out who you are and realizing that, hey, you have a role to play in the church, but that doesn't mean you have to be the pastor of the church.
Yeah.
And that you're a writer and you're a speaker and a teacher and a coach and all these, an author, a publisher, and that your energies from that. And as you become distinctly that soul on fire, that the gig is then to deeply connect with others. And oftentimes we deeply connect in great teams with people very distinctly different from ourselves. And that's the gig. And that's how we truly become one. We don't become one by becoming distinct and just hanging out with people distinctly like us. We want them to like us, right? We want them to want to be friends with us, but oftentimes we can be great friends with people distinctly very different from us.
You have clients who are Orthodox Jews, atheists.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Not many people would be able to do that.
Well, they're very strong.
Yeah. And they respect you and you respect them.
And I do. And we love each other. And that's what keeps us together.
Yeah.
And I didn't go into this thinking that would happen. I went into this thinking I'm going to end up with clients a lot like me. Well, here's another news flash.
Okay.
Most of my clients are much younger than me. When I started this, I thought I wanted to work with, business owners who were my age, and they were mature. And I found out like I'm a weird dude my age. Most people my age don't want to change.
They're safe. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to work with people that didn't want to get after it and change and transform. And so early on, I worked with lots of old business owners, and it was frustrating to me and I had to look at myself and go, well, why are you pursuing that? Why don't you pursue younger people? And so I remember Dub. I don't know if Dub Atosh is on here, but one of my first young clients was a dude named Dub, who's still a great friend and works with Hamilton Capital, who's one of the best Built to Lead clients on the planet. And I had great time with him. He was super energizing. He did the work. And I said, Dub, introduce me to some of your youngsters,
Yeah.
And the first one he did was Chad Silverstein.
Yes.
Who's really derp.
And
he became a client, and there was a youth movement underway from then on.
I love that. Couple funny
Distinct.
things. Yeah. Couple funny things here.
What are you doing now?
I'm just showing people your book.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
They're seeing this, whatever's on the screen.
They're seeing the book. They're seeing that it's, I'll tell you what, just in the time since we've been here, you have some fans. They've already done reviews. So how cool is that Tanisha has already done a review, and more are loading. So that's one thing you can do. If you like this, folks, go to Amazon right now, open an incognito window, because Amazon is tricky and they don't like friends to review books, which is stupid, but don't get me started.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So they track if you know someone. Like, come on now, why build fan base in the first place? But anyways,
I hope they know you.
Yeah. Anyways, but what they'll do is they'll say you can't review the book if you know the person.
Oh, really?
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you got to get around them. So we just open an incognito window. You just go File, New Incognito Window, and boom, you've hacked the system.
Well, that's like your book.
Just like my book.
PJ is unhackable.
I am unhackable. I am.
He's unhackable.
So couple quick things. You once met with an old dude, and he wouldn't see you because Chet's dressed up, by the way. This is dressed up for Chet.
This is my business attire.
But the guy wouldn't see you. And his secretary said, he won't see you unless you wear a suit or a sport coat. What did you say? What did he say? I think one of those guys ended up seeing you, but that was the culture shift that he had to make mentally. Tell that backstory. That's a funny story.
Well, I'm not sure which story you're referring to about the dude wouldn't see me. I will tell you that one of the largest, when I started Built to Lead, my aim was, again, working with old dudes. I wanted to work with the biggest companies in town. I wanted to build a business here and work with big companies. So one of the biggest employers in town was my first target, and I landed them as a client, and they exploded. I mean, I was working with the president of a division, the CEO of another division. I mean, like, it's a big company. And they invited Larry and Roger Hall. I don't think Roger Hall is on this call, but
I like Roger.
No, he's a good dude.
Roger got me in with Zondervan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah.
So he was helping me. It was just me at the time. And Larry was just leaving the church to join the band. And so we all went out to California and we did a kickoff with like 1,000 and some of their employees, and they loved it. And they were like, it was like a 3-day deal out there. And they said, this is great. We want to get Built to Lead. And I was like, my gosh, this is going to be massive. So we come back and I meet with the head of the system and a bunch of the others that I hadn't met. And they were all dressed up, and I'm like this in their office. And he said, man, we love what you're doing. Our president, CEOs love this. We want to really expand the use of Built to Lead. And he said, but there's 2 things that we need you to change so we can do that. And I'm like, okay, what do you got? He said, number 1, we need you to stop talking about God. Like, we don't talk about God here. It's a publicly traded company, and that freaks people out. So if you could just refrain from using the word God, that's one. And okay. And then they said, the second thing is, we need you to follow our dress code. And we have a very specific dress code. It's what we call business casual. And they laid it out for me like I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And I listened to them and I said, all right. And I said, well, I'm not, number 1, I dress like this because this is the way I dress. It's who I am. It's an extension of who I am. It's comfortable. I do my best work when I'm comfortable, and I do it on purpose because I tell my clients, I don't want you to judge a book by the cover. And the way I'm dressed, judge me by what the merit of my work. And if you do not like the work, fire me. And I don't make you sign a contract. So I'm going to dress the way I want. I'm not going to tell you to dress like me. Dress like you. I'm not going to judge you by that. I'm going to judge you by the merit of the way you work and the work you do with regard to what you and I are working on. I'll fire you if you don't do the work. You fire me if you don't like the work, if it's not beneficial. And I'm going to talk about God only because I don't make other people talk about God, but I share my worldview because I want everybody to know, hey, what I believe affects the way I behave.
Yeah.
And the way Built to Lead is built on, it's built on my belief system. So I'm not telling you to believe what I do, but I'm telling you transparently, you ought to know what I believe because it affects the way I work with you. And I think it's just being truthful to tell you this. So you can believe whatever you want to believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to believe what I want to believe. And I said, so, kind sir, I guess we can't work together. And I said, it's a shame. I really enjoyed the work, but I'm not willing to do that. And if you're not willing to compromise, I would say we're done. And we were done.
Wow. That is amazing.
And I tell the band, I said, that's the example of a good firing.
Yes.
That was a good firing.
I love that. I love this guy who's posting, Gil. He says, what's this all about? And then a few minutes ago, he said, what are you selling? So I don't know who Gil is, but here's the beauty of this. We're selling truth. In other words, Chet's the most anti-marketing, anti-sales person I know. In fact, I've told you for years, like, man, I'd love to, market your stuff and get you all kinds of, I try to help you on social media.
I know you do.
But
I need help.
You do, but you don't need, you don't do any of that stuff. Why is Built to Lead, and especially with the new book coming out, why is it growing? Why do people want like the anti-marketing and just the good, simple truth that you're sharing? And why are people liking this so much? It's so different than what most people are used to.
Oh boy. I would say that you'd need to ask the people you'd need to ask the band, first of all, because there's 10 of us in the Built to Lead band. My son is the 10th.
Nice.
He's our apprentice. He's the only one in the band that was not a client before joining Built to Lead.
Okay.
So Built to Lead is 10 souls on fire who became Built to Lead as a client, running some system. Pete Kunk, who was my first client, dear friend, was
he was here.
Yeah, he was running Cello Poly, and he was a client of mine, my first client. And it didn't take long for our work to realize that he'd fallen out of love with his work.
And fallen out of love with his work. Interesting term.
And he started to fall in love with the work we were doing. And pretty soon it didn't take long for him to figure out that if I'm more in love with Built to Lead, maybe I ought to become a builder. And so he did. And Larry Allen was the next one. And he was forced out of the ministry, not really, but he was fired from a job, and he had plenty of other jobs in the ministry coming his way after that. And he was like, we were on a bike ride, and he's like, I think I could go do this. I love the Lord, and I want to keep pursuing the Lord, but I feel the Lord pulling me and calling me out of that and into what you do. And I remember looking at him on the bike and I said, really? And he said, yeah. He goes, I really think I want to join you. And I'm like, all right, well, come on. And so the essence of the Built to Lead band is these are believers.
Yeah.
These guys, I didn't sell them on joining Built to Lead. They sold me. And they left really great gigs to come pursue their opus, becoming a builder. And so I think that just attracts a kind of client that you build a long-term relationship with, because these guys, people always talk about acting like an owner. Well, these guys are owners. I mean, they're not employed by me. We're a coalition. We come together and they're paid by their clients. And so we just play together and work together because we love each other and we love this work.
What did you call it years ago? Like Mustangs, or what?
Yeah, Mustangs.
What does that mean compared to most of people?
Well, because most people, when they go on a horse ride, an organized ride, it's on a really old horse, not a Mustang, or most likely it's on a mule. Mules have better footing. Mules have eyes that are set further out so they can see better on rocky, treacherous terrain. They're more stable. So if you're going to go nose to tail, you want to ride a mule. Mustangs are wild. Mustangs run. When you see a herd of Mustangs, you cannot tell who's the lead because they just run and they go find green pasture.
Sounds like our workouts.
Yeah.
And our rides, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They don't go nose to tail.
Yeah.
And they follow their own way, and they only herd together with other strong Mustangs. So I referred to us as that. That's, I want a group that wants to run together because they love to run, not because they're following me, the leader, nose to tail.
Couple last things. And folks, Rachel says, we love the work and we believe in the work. It changed my life, so I believe in it. And now I want to transform together with others, work and play. I can't tell the difference anymore. Yeah. Sounds like she's got it.
She does.
So
what did Dosher just say?
Oh, he said, being a builder is not a career or a job. It's a way of living. Afterwards, you're going to have to read these comments because there are some amazing really comments. So a couple things in conclusion.
Thank you, everybody, for putting up with us, by the way.
Oh, yeah. People are writing reviews. Get the ebook. Get the book, folks.
Hey, what is the difference between an ebook and a Kindle?
The same thing.
It's the same thing?
Yeah.
So when somebody gets a Kindle,
yeah.
So like for the athletes, they were going to get an ebook.
So
does that really just mean a Kindle?
Yeah, that means they can read it on their phone.
Yeah, right.
That means they can get it on iPad, computer, these types of things.
Okay, so that's one of the things. So
yeah. Oh, you're all good. You're all good. So talk about why built to lead is often joked as built to leave. Like why is that true? How come I started with built to lead and I was a pastor who couldn't afford you, used to coach pastors for free on Fridays. But how come I left? How come other people leave? How come David Deck left? How come Rachel left? Like you just go through the list. Larry, why do people leave when they do built to lead? Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a great question. And a truth that many of our clients, and especially our best clients, celebrate when people leave because they're leaving to pursue their opus.
And opus stands for?
Well, it's an acrostic that we took from the Latin word opus, which translates to the English word work, but it's work that you love. It translates labor of love. And so we turned it into an acrostic playing off that. For O, which is in the book, stands for overarching vision. When somebody gets clear about their big dream, that's their O. A P, their purpose, the defining statement of their work. And then the U, the unifying strategies that are how they're going to bring the O and the P into existence. And then lastly, the scorecard for significance, how they're going to measure progress to see that this is working. So that's their opus. And so when people get clear on their opus and it doesn't align with the opus of Derp and Lara at Choice or Brett and Frankie at Kaufman, then they clearly know, well, I'm built to leave. Because if I really see that this is my core, this is who I am, my opus, my aim, that's what I'm aiming at, I had to go pursue that. And so oftentimes in Built to Lead team practice, we will have people leave and we will celebrate their leaving because they're going off to pursue their opus.
They get so strong and so clear that they have to leave.
Yeah. And it's such a great thing. And oftentimes they leave and stay in the same system. So which is great. But
like Giganti. He's still at his current place, but he's redefined.
That's right. Like Kary at Choice, she's still there, but she's taken a completely different role. And then sometimes they leave and they jettison the system. And we've had plenty of those. And I get notes from those people. I have yet to get the first note from somebody who's authored an opus and pursued it and left the system or stayed and sent me a note saying, Chet, why did you let me author an opus and jump out the window and commit career suicide. I haven't gotten one of those.
No.
Never. I have never.
No. So
I mean, do you have any regret?
No. In fact, let's talk about that. This is how we'll close. But I consider you one of my top 5 influential people in my life. I could have been a scared pastor my entire life, one of these bitter dudes who, played it safe, was scared, wanted it to be comfortable, and blaming God. Because I mean, a lot of Christians will do that. They'll like say, "Well, God, you didn't give me another option." You remember the day where you said, because I wanted. There's a couple days. Well,
I know which one you're talking.
You know what I'm talking about. One, you called me out and you said, "You can't take the ring and stay in the Shire."
Yeah.
Tell us what that means.
You tell them.
I'm
tired.
So,
what did it mean to you?
To
when
me,
you heard that, what did it mean to you? How did you translate those words?
I can't live a life of adventure and stay in the Shire, which meant the church, which meant my steady paycheck, my nice health insurance, my title, my friends, like all the things that were comfortable about my life, which I liked, but I wasn't truly alive. And you called me out and it hurt. And I'll never forget when you did that. It hurt because it was true, but I literally felt like I had to vomit.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Because I knew that life would never be the same again. Like after I had that conversation, you call it searing truth.
Mm-hmm.
What does searing truth do? What does that define that for people? Because you've had those moments with your clients.
Well, searing truth does one of two things. It's like an alarm going off inside of you, and you either respond to the alarm and run out of the house because you realize the house is on fire and I got to get out because there's something better for me, or those searing moments are so searing that a lot of humans just decide to numb themselves.
Wow. Through addictions, distractions, quote, getting hacked. Yeah.
Power, money, you name it. Could be any number of things. But they're numbing themselves to that signal that I believe is a signal from God to call. He's calling us to the way we're meant to be.
Yeah.
And if we don't respond, we kind of want to not hear the signal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So we numb it up.
Folks, this is the one blog that I read. In fact, it's a joke because
Wait a minute, Guru.
Yeah. Your Builder's Journey.
This is so good.
Okay, go ahead.
Keisha, Your Builder's Journey. This is Goo talking. In the book, moved me to tears of joy. You used to present yourself as a strong woman, but your strength today needs no presentation. Miss you, Guru.
Why is that? Why is that significant?
Well, I'm going to just say, if you get, I don't know if they can read Keisha's Builder's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the first one. It's in Build Your Core.
Mm-hmm.
It's the very first one. Mm-hmm. She's not a business owner. She's not a CEO. She's somebody who works for Lara and at Choice Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And she acts like she owns the place.
She acts like she owns the place.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
She is the keeper of the culture. And right now, I don't even know what she does because a big part of her most recent opus was to be home with her 2 beautiful baby girls. So she's now home. And I don't mean working at home, like she left to go home. And the company is trying to figure out a way to have her do some work because she's such a culture beacon.
Wow.
And that story, I mean, Keisha's story is such a great story because, I mean, she had a really hard climb. She was a hardened Marine who, when we met in early practice, thought Built to Lead was just a joke. She thought all the people coming to practice were a joke.
Yeah.
And when she did Discovery,
She said, I didn't grow up in the church. The words God, Jesus, Bible, heaven, and hell made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love the ending. She says, to say built to lead changed my life is an understatement. It saved my life. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, she's sweet.
That's pretty powerful. So folks, this is the one blog that I read. I don't read a lot of blogs, but the book is amazing because it puts it in a portable way. It's edited, it's it's refined, and
Yeah,
it's going to take you to the next level. And the cool thing is you can get this and start on any day. So you can literally start day 1 on December 8th or January 1st. So folks, grab a copy. Even though the hardcover is an investment, it's I don't know, $30 some. $32. Amazon is Amazon. We're going to teach you how to hack Amazon here, because Amazon is you know, we like them, but we don't. But anyway, go click on For New, and you'll see it drop down, and then people are already trying to sell it for $52. Fake people, but Amazon's selling it for $32.99 with Prime, with free delivery, and it's going to release here in the next few hours. Kindle you can get immediately. It's already #1. And Chet, I'll just tell people that they will not be the same. If you go through this and you do the exercises, you will not be the same. And Chet, this has been awesome. You push me on bike rides to do them when I don't want to do them. And I pushed you to write this book, and I'm glad that you did it.
Well, thank you for the push. I'm glad you did, and I'm glad that we did it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for being on here, and some of you from far, far away. Doug, unbelievable, and just blessings to all of you.
Is this Taylor? Like Taylor is in Taylor?
Yeah.
Every Frodo needs a Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That is awesome.
Thank you, Tay.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you. Be a soul on fire. Get Chet's book. Take care.
Thank you.